Hello, Sunshines, and welcome to Rina Loves Reading, a channel solely devoted to the things I need to read, the things I want to read, and the things I need to get off my endless TBR. Good luck with that. So today, we are talking about the books that I need to read in February for one reason or another. My TBR. Yay. This is ridiculously large. Wonder if I'll actually do it. So, the first book on the pile is Rubble Rose. So I started this in January. I'm about 40% into it. Basically, this story is a continuation of where Beauty and the Beast, the Disney film, left off. So, that movie, spoilers if you haven't seen it, basically ends with Belle breaking the curse, Beast becoming a human, everyone else becoming a human. This starts off right about after they are married and all of that stuff. And it picks up, what do you do if you have been missing for 10 years and no one knows you're missing? It's set in French Revolution times as well, so you're also dealing with concepts of Belle, who is just married into aristocracy, struggling with maintaining the needs of the common folk that she was just a part of, while also dealing with the extravagance of her new life with Beast, and how to put the commoners ahead of the needs of the aristocracy. I will say this book started off slow with me, which I think is why I'm only 40% done with it. I'm generally a quick reader, but now that we are in the heart of it, around that time where all the conflict is coming out and decisions have been made, it's going quicker. I just need to finish it. The second book on the endless TBR pile for February is Crush. So this is book 2 in the Crave series. I kind of think it based off like the first book I've read, and I've only read the first book. Twilight meets Vampire Academy? Kind of. Those vibes. So in the first book, the main female protagonist has lost her parents in an accident, and her only surviving relatives are her uncle and I think her cousin that live in Alaska and run a boarding school. Fair, fine. So obviously she goes and moves to Alaska. You watch her struggle in Alaska, and then you begin to find out there are magical elements in the world. And how does the single human being live in a dorm and school that has dragons and vampires? How does that work out? So I'm excited to read this one. I think the 5th book just literally came out yesterday, so I want to get caught up on this series sometime this year. So book 2 is on the pile. The next book I am planning to read during the month of February is Six of Crows. I finished the Shadow and Bone series during the month of January, finally. Solely so I could watch the Netflix film. But to watch the Netflix films, I need to read the duology for Six of Crows. So from what I understand, this is kind of like a more heisty theme. And it's a continuation of the Christophers in a duology. So add this to the pile. I did enjoy Shadow and Bones a lot, and I read those quickly in I think I finished all 3 books along with the rest of my TBR piles in about 3 months. So pretty good. The next book, I'm not gonna lie, solely bought for the cover years ago. Yeah. My bad. Again, I have an endless TBR pile. I'm not ashamed of it. In reality, I'm kind of ashamed of it, so I actually need to read the books I am buying. So this one, from what I understand, is kind of set in the Arthurian time period. So Guinevere, Arthur, King Arthur, Excalibur, all of that. And what makes this book unique is Guinevere is not actually human. She's a changeling. that's going to be interesting when they find out and all of the complex details of that. So I am hoping my cover buy does not bite me in the butt, basically, because I have the second book as well, and it is a trilogy. I think the third book is either just recently came out or will be coming out this year. So need to get on it. Endless TBR pile book. The fourth book on the TBR pile for this month is Tokyo Ever After. So, I'm a person of a certain age that grew up when Princess Diaries was actually being released book by book. I know, I probably just dated myself a whole bunch with that. But I loved it. And as an adult, have I revisited and reread the Princess Diaries series multiple times? Yeah. Am I currently rereading it again and I only have like 2 books left? Yeah. So when I heard that this book was Princess Diaries meets Japan, a culture that I actually really enjoy because I love animes and mangas, I had to pick it up. So here it is. It's on the pile. Our next book is also a continuation of a series that I own the books to, that I have not read, that have been released for years. We are at Midnight Jewels. So this is the second book in the Glittering Jewels series by Rochelle Mead. The first book basically focuses on the protagonist, who is a noble that is trying to escape noble life. So she takes the place of a peasant from her household who is entering what kind of is like a competition to get married and debutante, kind of like, where you're trying to basically prove that you are good enough to marry into these esteemed households, and they place bets on you and they try to buy your marriage. It's a little weird, not gonna lie, now that I actually try to process it out. But the first book focused on that, and you got to see how the girls were assigned the jewels. So there's a ruby, there's an emerald, there's a sapphire, there's a diamond. And as they progress into trying to get their marriage offers to basically progress in life in this culture. The second book follows one of the main characters that you were introduced to in the first book, but was not the main protagonist for this book. So I'm interested to see where this picks up and follow a different character's story, because I found at the end of the first book the main character was a little bit annoying to me with her focus, but I'm interested to give the underdog in that, the protagonist series, a chance, and this seems to be her book. The next book that we're talking about, and hopefully we'll get to, These Violent Delights. I know, gangsters, Japan culture. Yeah, I'm gonna hopefully like this one. The second book just recently again came out. I own this, so I want to actually get to read it. Kind of a Romeo and Juliet retelling, which I'm kind of nervous about because I don't necessarily relate a lot to that story, because I honestly thought Romeo and Juliet were idiots at points. And that might be a hot take, but I didn't enjoy their story, and it could have been because I was reading it in high school and forced to watch like 50 million versions of the movie to be able to pass my English classes. So we'll see how I do on this one. You know when you just buy books for covers? Is that just me? Or is that everyone? Because this was a total cover buy. When Barnes & Nobles did their half price off hardbacks. Yeah. I thought Black Sun had the most beautiful cover I have seen in a fantasy book for a while. So I don't know a lot about this book, but I'm interested into hearing it, because even in the cover, it basically is, one of the main lines is that the Sun Priest makes a prophecy, and that prophecy is coming true, but it's causing the unbalancing of the world. So yeah, I'm interested to see where this one goes. Final 2 books on the TBR pile. We'll actually see if we get this far. Come on. So, City of the Dead is the second book in the series that follows the Maxim Ride series, the Hawk series. So, if you don't know Maxim Ride, it's basically, think, bird children. So, genetically modified children as they fight back against those that have genetically modified them. This series follows after that series. The world has completely changed and people are continuing to fight back, but poverty and all of this struggle has already ingrained itself into the world so much. How are they coming back? This is by James Patterson. I am interested to read it. I've read all of the Maxim Ride series books very quickly, but I'm finding the Hawk series a little slower. And like, I'm not as invested in the characters as I was with the Maxim Ride series. So I'm hoping I enjoyed this book more than I did the first one. And the final book on the TBR pile is Where Dreams Descend. So from my understanding and what I'm seeing online, it's kind of like Game Show meets The Greatest Showman. And it has another beautiful cover. I have a little deep dark secret that I'm a cover buyer. If you got a good cover and an interesting synopsis in the front, you're probably gonna get bought by me at one time or another. This was another case of that. This is why I have an endless TBR pile. Lord help me. Anyway, that is all I have for today. So let's hope I do well on my TBR pile. I'm hoping to get a lot of reading done, but I have work to do. But it's also, snowstorm right now. So we will see what happens.